And on a very busy Monday, we begin with the coach that everybody's talking about, Brian Kelly. We head down to Baton Rouge, and always great to see the coach. Coach, congratulations. In spite of what everybody has said, it was still a pretty impressive victory. How do you feel?
I feel great. I mean, that anytime you win in the SEC, you got to be happy. This league's too difficult not to appreciate victories, and winning takes different forms. We've got, I believe, a top 10 defense in the country, and we're going to play accordingly. At the end of the day, Paul, it's my job to get outcomes, positive outcomes for our state, for LSU, and finding a way to win this game and putting it on the backs of our defense and a punter. Um, it might not be as sexy as some like, but I'll take the win any way we can get them.
No, hey, you're highly regarded and undefeated. And let me get to the news about Garrett, and just maybe if you could explain his situation, because naturally fans everywhere,
Yeah.
especially LSU fans, are a little bit concerned.
Yeah, it's really a minor injury, but one that we've had to manage him. And look, it's like anything else. If you're not getting your throws in, if you're not able to do that on a consistent basis, there's some things that you're going to be careful with. He's going to be fine. The bye week will get him, over the hump. He's made progress. He's feeling so much better now, and we expect him to continue to improve. But we have to be very careful with him. And I thought he did a great job of managing what we've asked him to manage as we develop our offense and continue to grow. It's about finding ways to win. And again, we've got a great defense. We've got explosive playmakers. We'll continue to move forward and feature those guys as he gets better and better.
And coach, any injury to anyone affects a lot of different aspects, but considering what you know and what your medical staff know, how does that affect your approach to the game in terms of what you want him doing?
Well, it doesn't really affect the game itself, but it does affect his preparation. And so, as we all know, preparation is key to great performances. And he's been really good. But he's going to be better. And that's the great news from our perspective is that, we've had to, make sure that the things that he's worked on during the week are the things that we go to on Saturdays. But now that he's feeling better, actually he's turned a corner. We're going to be able to build up our offense around him the way everybody expects.
You obviously gave Blake Baker a lot of credit, as you have continued to do, but uh, everybody's paying attention now. You can't help but admire that side of the ball and how potent it is and how effective it is. Just now that you've seen a really good sample size, we'd like to hear your thoughts.
Well, obviously, it starts with having the players, and Blake's an outstanding defensive coordinator. But and we talked about this, Paul. He needed some weapons. He needed some guys on defense, and we went into the portal. We attracted a number of high-profile defensive players to help put him in this system. So, anytime you get 5 interceptions for the first time in the history of LSU football, you're on the right track in terms of what you're doing. So. Players love coaching. I love coaching with him. He's got great energy, and the guys love being part of the defense.
Coach, I know you've addressed it a couple of times, but it has been, and I'm sure you've been busy getting ready for the next game, but it's been all over ESPN. You've been awarded you didn't get an Emmy last night, but you got the best rant of the college football season so far. And not to make it bigger than it is, because I know you want to turn the page, but could we go back and just, and I think we'd all like to understand a little bit of your mindset going in when that question was fired at you Saturday night?
Yeah, and I guess that's the whole point, Paul. It's a mindset, right? You've just played an emotional game. You're coming in to questions, and the first one that you're dealing with is what's wrong with your offensive line, and so look, I needed to do a better job of handling that question. That's on me. I've got to be better moving forward. Michael Cobble is an outstanding reporter. I apologize to him, but the mindset has got to be more about where are we right now? We just beat an SEC opponent in an emotional game and had 5 interceptions and one of our best defensive performances. So I just think it's a little bit of everybody, right? And it starts with me. I've got to be better, as I said, but I think we all have to understand what the mindset needs to be in a post-game press conference.
And I think it's interesting because you've always been very open with the media. I mean, this episode that we have every Monday is living proof of that. But I mean, I've asked plenty of dumb questions to you and others, but I think what I took away, not that it matters, is I mean, you're emotional and you care about your team and you just won a big game, and it just when you hear something like that, you're not trying to control the media, you're just trying to represent your program, aren't you?
No, I have great respect. As you know, I come on this show regardless of wins or losses, and my obligations are to answer the tough questions and need to do that. But when you're asked a question in that situation as a head coach, an emotional situation, I'm going to defend my players, and I'm going to defend our team. And so I just wanted all of us to understand that in a post-game press conference where we never get a chance to watch the film, that if we're all on the same page, I think we can be really productive on a day-to-day basis, answering the tough questions as well as the questions that make you feel good about your team.
Finally, we can't talk about your defense enough. You can't, but that's not the only part of your program. Overall, I mean, I don't know how. By the way, you got the defensive player of the week here, and that's to be expected, Coach. But this is a place you have tried so hard to bring this program, and everything else is old news. But just your overall assessment as this program continues to get more national attention, move up in the polls. And quite frankly, undefeated, which is really what matters most right now.
Yeah, Paul, this is still about building the entire program. We certainly have made great strides from year two, where unfortunately I had to let go of very, very talented coaches because we had a deficit in terms of talent. We built that talent back up. I have a talented defensive staff led by Blake Baker. And offensively, we need to continue to grow. We're a little bit inexperienced. We had 4 NFL draft picks taken off that offensive line. That is not an excuse. There's a standard of play, and we've got to get better. But I'll hang our hat until we continue to grow on a defense that's, I believe, a top 10 defense in the country. And then we're going to manage what we need to do on the offensive side of the ball as we continue to evolve.
Coach, congratulations. Always enjoy these Monday chats. We'll see you next week.
Okay, Paul. Thanks again. Appreciate it.
You want this, you got that. No way, watch them walk right past you. Run fast while you have the chance. Don't speak, let them look right at you.